Okay, here we want to find the limit as x approaches infinity of the function x plus 2 over the square root of 9x squared plus 1. So what we want to do, again, is to find the limit as x approaches infinity of x plus 2 over the square root of 9x squared plus 1. Okay, so what we want to do is, if we take a look at the numerator and denominator, the numerator, we want to make sure that we can multiply this by 1 over x. In the denominator, we can also multiply that by 1 over x. But I want to take the time over here to show you something when you're dividing 1 over x by the square root of 9x squared plus 1. So what we have here is that if we have the square root of 9x squared plus 1, if we multiply that by 1 over x, we're going to end up getting the square root of 9x squared plus 1 over x. Well, when we're at this scenario right now, we're unable to divide the terms under the radical because the denominator doesn't have a radical associated with it. So I want you to think of 1 over x. Okay, now can we square the numerator and the denominator? Well, we can't, because that becomes 1 over x squared. Now, can we also take the square root of the numerator and the denominator? Well, if we take the square root of 1 over the square root of x squared, well, if we simplify the square root of 1, we end up getting 1 over the square root of x squared. So technically, we can say that 1 over x is also equal to 1 over the square root of x squared. So if we take a look back over here at our division, since we're dividing by 1 over x, okay, we know that it's also equal to 1 divided by the square root of x squared. And so what that allows us to do is to be able to divide these terms under the radicand, or the radical sign, and divide it by x squared. So let's go ahead and do that in the next step. So we have the limit as x is approaching infinity. So in the numerator, we have x divided by x plus 2 divided by x. And then in the denominator, we have 9 over x squared, or excuse me, 9x squared divided by x squared plus 1 over x squared. Okay, so now let's go ahead and simplify. So we have the limit as x approaches infinity. Well, x divided by x is 1 plus 2 over x divided by the square root of, well, 9x squared over x squared is 9 plus 1 over x squared. So now we want to be able to apply the limit as x is approaching infinity. So when we apply the infinity to the value of x, we have 2 divided by infinity, which is going to give us 0. And we also have 1 divided by infinity, which is also going to give us 0. So let's go ahead and write this limit now. We have 1 plus 0 in the numerator, and then we have the square root of 9 plus 0 in the denominator. So we end up having 1 plus 0, which is 1, over the square root of 9 plus 0, which is the square root of 9. And the square root of 9 is 3, so we end up getting 1 over 3.